Hey, and we are several seconds early because on time is late. Today is about time management. It's about self development and the habits of successful people. We've got some things we need to cover before we get to that. And welcome to the Friday stream before I diddy mow out of Sydney, out of the postcode for the first time in 7 months and head north to Alaska, rewind Stockton Beach, Newcastle.
How exciting, though.
A place per capita that has more murders than anywhere else I know in Australia.
Is that true? That's not true.
It's had a lot.
You can't have more than like Palm Island and that.
No.
Yeah. You're tricking me.
Yeah. Some of the housekeeping we're going to talk about quickly, Lauren, before... no, actually, let's let Lauren do the introduction for this stream. Thank you. Please.
Oh, sure. Are you sure? I did just wake up, but I will happily.
We won't blame Bill Cosby.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Everybody needs self-development, and if you want to get some habits of successful people, you want to get them from someone who's had success. You don't want to be getting them from the loser next to you who's still trying to fumble his way through everything as well.
Leave me out of it.
One of the successful ones that they should be listening to.
Yeah, well, that's true. And we've got some questions for the team before we actually start in a moment. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to all the Patreon members, the newest Patreon members to our channel. But so you know, this is not about a finance thing for me or Daz, who gets the cows, and sometimes the cow with one teat that still needs milking. I just want to say, don't come onto Patreon today because it's right at the end of the month. And what happens is you get billed at the very start of the month. So I'd hate to see you get billed today and then get billed again in 2 days' time and think, what the hell's going on here? Maybe I'm the one getting milked. That's not the case. Okay. The other one is Solomon's. We know that I think 43 of our soldiers probably going for a military police perspective, I'd imagine, an advisory role.
That's not that many. That's good. Hey, Lisa Clark says hello.
That's my sister.
I know it is. Yep. I just had to interrupt and say hello there for you.
She loves my guts. She is a cannibal, so it makes sense.
Good grief.
If you love my guts, you'd be bloody hungry. There's not much of it. Ladies, swipe right now. G'day, sis. I'm going to see you tomorrow or the next day, okay? I've got nothing for you but humble pie, but I can't wait to come and pick up my shipment of tubes now that I can. I've got 16 packets there, Jay. Thank you for getting me through the tough times. So the Solomons, we've got police advisory roles and probably MPs that are going as well. This is not classed as a deployment as such. This is classed as a critical probably mission and a witness sort of thing to make sure that it calms down a bit when we have a presence there. The other one is Robbie Kent, and God bless those that are going into harm's way. And the people from the Solomon Islands, by all accounts, are quite nice people. And I am sure that they have no vitriol or anger aimed at the Australian military.
We've been there before, and we did some really good work there before too.
We did. So let's get some thumbs up for our boys in blue and the boys in green and anyone else that may go with them. I don't know anyone's names there. And let's just hope they all get home safely, and the people that are protesting in actual fact in Solomon's, I hope you get a good verdict there, because it sounds like you're getting sold out by your politicians. It would be a big mistake to back the red corn chip over Western cultures, especially over the long run. Rob Kent has got...
Let's be honest.
Sorry?
Let's be honest. I can't help but think, no matter what their bluster is, that you've got to remember their folk really wish they could live in our society.
Absolutely. But so do the people from the red corn chip.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course.
And I was most impressed with Indonesia. They've also got to remember they're going to butt up against cultures who we may not traditionally get along with, who are kind of expansionistic themselves and who are going to say, you're not taking us.
Absolutely. Robbie Kent, how's your finger? Hope it's doing well, mate. I hope it doesn't grow back, but I hope it's doing okay. And I hope you're getting some of your dexterity back there, my friend. And we've got someone with a few problems. Tonight is about self-development. We've got a guy who claims to be Deadpool, but is a lot more like Robin.
We know he's Robin.
Batman's Robin. So if you hear me out there, if he's watching, take it easy, mate.
You are Robin.
He is Robin. Today, we're going to be talking about self-development. We've got some fantastic comments already flowing in. Carl P is all about self-development. Reaching out, going further, taking risks, doing the work without supervision, self-reflection, understands what success for him is, understands what the finish line would feel like, passing on a legacy to those of his sons that are watching his actions over his words. Fantastic young bloke, and I wish the best to him. And I never thought I'd be telling someone in their late 30s, young bloke. Lisa says, hi, Nicole. Nicole, in case you didn't hear me before, Lisa's my sister. She ain't heavy. She's my brother. No, she is heavy, but she's my sister. But I love her to pieces. Righto. Here we go. So, if I was to ask you guys and gals about self-development, what does success mean to you? Is it the finish line? Is it money? Is it a family sitting around a table, happy, listening to the patter of school kids, as they tell stories to grandparents? As you get older, your idea of success will change, and money is quite likely going to be a lot lower on the scale than what you'd imagine. Okay? It's probably fairly important, Lauren, that we talk about self-development as a tool to allow people to understand more about themselves so they can set the goals. We've got some points that are going to come up in a minute, so that you understand how to map out your journey and you're not just a ship in the wind, with no one on the tiller, or a fart, in a cyclone that's trying to make its way back to the butt. Right.
You can't put it back.
You can't put it back in. We've got Lightfoot there. We've got Jessie Bray. Jessie, I wish I had your girl. Where can I find a woman like that?
There's two ladies. You remember it just seemed like yesterday he just had that lovely little girl. Now she's like a year old.
Time goes fast.
It really does.
But not when you're holding your breath. The swamp wallabies here. Our politicians are terrible too, though. ScoMo, Clive Palmer, Craig Kelly, the Greens, Barnaby. Look, I really hang my head for the politicians because they didn't come from hard times. They're people that are opportunistic. A lot of the times they're failed lawyers. Normally the politicians that step up in hard times following WW1, WW2, all those sort of things, they tend to be great because they're the people that say, hey, I can do a better job and I'm going to do it, and they do it. In Rome, you used to have positions of popularity which gave you astronomical reward, but as soon as that was over, you were never allowed to serve in any fashion ever again, and that was so you couldn't be bribed. It worked. You also couldn't get to certain levels of parliament within the SPQR, the Senate, etc., unless you had children, because you didn't know what it was like to have skin in the fight, so to speak, which meant also you were an age where you were mature and were able to make decisions based on wisdom, not self-imposed wisdom, so to speak. So this is going to be the first one, Lauren. Bam. Goal-orientated. This is the habits of successful people. If I was to ask myself if I was successful, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm in a house by myself with you guys. Great to have you here. Thanks.
Yeah.
Tick like, subscribe right now so you can talk in comments, and we're happy to have you here. But I've still got a table that can take 8 people downstairs that no one sits at. So that's not the success that I would judge myself on. It's not the success I thought that I'd have. But I've got a beautiful little girl, who has a father and a mother in a life that aren't together.
Yeah, exactly. But you're a great family. You're great co-parents.
Yeah.
She's a special little girl. She's amazing.
And we've got a dog.
Yeah, exactly.
How are we, Kaz? Mr. Bianchi, I'm good, mate. Always go to call you Brown Key for some reason.
Me too. I think I'm a bit dyslexic there.
That's all right.
Talking about goals and that, one of like the actual like dictionary definitions of success is the accomplishment of like an aim or a purpose.
There you
So
go.
there's a lot of definitions of success, and it depends on the context you're using it in. But one of them is to just achieve goals.
What you set out for. But if you don't, if you never set out for something, if you don't write down what your mission is, you'll never know if you were successful, or you might say you're successful when you're not. I have never set goals other than getting into the military. I never asked for a certain rank. I got in there, I trained hard, I trained continually, I love what I did, I volunteered for everything, and the military was my dream job. I did it for a quarter of a century, and I didn't get charged, and I'm still alive, and I still have most of the friends that I was in with. So in many ways, that is success for me. That's my dream job.
Exactly.
For some, it's going to be money. For some, it's going to be, for sports people, it may be trophies and accolades. For lawyers, it might be money and power. Okay. For politicians, it could be a bit of you name it. Okay. But the goalposts can change, but you do need to have a goal, because without a goal, you are proverbially the fart in the wind.
Many goals in your life. You may have a vocational goal. You might have a personal goal too, like, that you want. I know a lot of women who really want to be a mother, or they want to be a wife, and that's a good goal too. But you do have to set it, and you do have to be goal oriented.
And you have to be honest about it. And that'll happen as you come down through these points. And what better goal amalgamation marriage would it be than someone whose goal is to be a mother and have children, and that aligns with someone who wants to be successful and have a family and have a legacy and be the man, the patriarch of the house, and know that he's going to provide and protect, and less is more, and he wants everyone that he helps to feel safe.
Yeah, well, you know me, I'm fairly traditional about stuff. Everyone here kind of knows, we know what's expected of us, because it makes life simple.
She still rides a horse.
I would if I had a horsey.
Yeah. So let us know what your goal is, because you may not know.
Didn't turn out for me either, Lisa, but I did reach some goals. I've raised my kids how I wanted to raise them. We do the little mini goals, like, this week I'm going to going to try a new recipe or something. So there's small goals as well. And I guess I made that professional goal too. I wanted to get to the top of the artistic career I was in, and then I made it. I don't know what I was expecting to find at the top, but I found it.
in the tattooing industry, or the modelling industry, in the tattoo industry, and she found Hep C at the end of the goal.
I found it's quite easy to avoid that when you're new to tattooing. Yeah, if you're careful. Yeah, modelling. I was a terrible model.
Can we please, Brendan Field, good to have you here. He's a Patreon guy too. Success is in your final moment when you're at the absolute loneliness, even surrounded by family, etc. You can be at peace with yourself and accept your life. Advice given to me by a great man. I think that's fairly good. I think it's fairly accurate. And your last breath might be choking in a bed with no one coming to a buzzer in time.
Exactly.
And the last taste in your mouth is your own slobber, and you still want to know, was I a net positive to the world?
Yeah, one of my favourite paintings is called The Death of the Miser, and it's by Hieronymus Bosch. And if you look at that, you realise it's a dude who spent his whole life meeting goals for something that then all of a sudden he's dying and he can't take any of it with him, and he's forsaken all the people for these trinkets.
That's crazy. And you've got the people that were made to drink molten gold for their greed,
exactly,
as a punishment.
Yeah,
just to interrupt myself here, it's probably a very good idea. I wish I'd done this when I was younger. I've already done this with my little girl, Ali, to make a vision board, the things that you want in life, and have it in a place in your house where you can see it and it reminds you of the journey. So when you go to have a tequila, that it could potentially end that dream. Let's go to the next one.
Yeah.
This is...
Hang on a second. Sorry, can I interrupt with a comment?
Of course.
Manuel said, really can't be stuffed anymore. I've been army, ambo and fiery, and I've totally lost my way now. No goals left. But the thing is, You make the goals. That you don't sit there and wait for them to run over you. You have to create them. Same as opportunity.
And look, he's picked three very, very
Exactly.
fast lane careers.
Yep.
What I'd recommend to you to do, Manny, is maybe get on Patreon, mate. And you and I can have a conversation over the length it takes you to sip a cup of coffee slowly, because that way I don't know your background, mate. So, but I've had a similar background, which means that we can swap notes, not judge each other, hear what you're saying in between the lines, and I'm more than happy to have those conversations with you. So by coming here, you've got a place to be and a place you can stay.
And you've been in that place too, right? You've been in that place where it does feel like, oh, well, I've done it all. What's left?
Well, YouTube is what I've got left. I went to YouTube. It is so exhausting. Once a week, I just want to quit this channel, at least once a week. But then I think, look what it gives me. You know, what it's put back into my life. I would love to have someone like you sitting across with me and speaking about different things that have occurred in our lives, how we tackled those situations, what it's like for you to be in the fast lane as military, ambo, fiery, what made you change between each one, what was something that you took away the funniest story from each one, what was the positives, not just the negatives, okay, and understand that you were the same as a professional athlete that suddenly is not in the team anymore. You are the celebrity that is no longer current. We see with Hollywood, we see this depiction through their personality whenever they get on one of these Saturday Night Live shows, or De Niro trying to keep current. You know, this is what happens when they run out of career, you know, but they still, I don't know. How do you relax when your mind goes 100 miles an hour, I guess I'm saying? You got to find something, because if you don't, you know, if you don't, you'll find yourself in the dark and the cold, mate, and it will come and claim you.
And we call this our second life, don't we? And we often talk about how we ally had to, it was a conscious decision to decide what we were going to do.
Yeah. Okay, Economic says, say what you want about universities. the problem with that takes us to the next points.
Yeah.
And that is, you know, I can't stand lefties. I really can't, because I feel like I used to think that people were acting, but now I realise a lot of the time they actually honestly think the way they do. Maybe they've got too much IQ, not enough street smarts, or enough, I don't know, maybe they're surrounded by too many people that think in exactly the same way. It's become such an echo chamber. It can be difficult. That victim mentality that happens there, the fact that people go to university without doing the self-reflection or the goal setting that says there is no industry in what I'm about to go and study and get a HECS bill for 4 years. What am I doing? You know, is there going to be relevance to this career in 4 years? Because I think a lot of them don't actually look at that. And it makes me wonder, are they just dodging the real world by staying at university while it's being paid for potentially in the short term, but has the boon that's going to last with them for years? So taking responsibilities for actions. Stop being the victim, and it's never go and be the victim on behalf of other groups. That's what I'll never understand. Whether you're talking about Black Lives Matter, whether you're talking about feminism, whether you're talking about what, if it is not something that is actually changing your life right now, why are people crying for me, Argentina, on behalf of other groups in the absence of having something to cry about themselves, while blaming the sins of the father on someone who's right now going, what have I got to do with this? I don't even own a whip.
And they've often drowning out the voice of the real people who actually are affected, who want to talk and probably don't want to talk trite.
Yep. We don't want to listen. We don't want to listen to just the past that cannot be changed.
No, exactly. You've got to bring solutions.
Yep. We've both got enough demons. You know, don't get me wrong. I've got moral injuries from the things I've been through. I have. That's not living in the past. It's just something I'll never recover from. And it's also because of the age I am when I had my child, that when the hammer hit the anvil, okay, and my life came tumbling down, it was not that I got lost in the past, but it's something I can't move past because it was a value system that was broken by politicians who sent us with incorrect rules of engagement to a country where black lives didn't matter, but they did to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But it's also, we can't forget that things like actual moral injuries, PTSD, and that's actually a physical problem in our brains. That is not something you can just turn off. But it should stop you setting goals. You don't have to fight against it, but you do have to do your bit to pick yourself up and not be a victim to it.
Yeah. No one likes the victim. No one does.
Nobody does. I personally, I've been through a lot. There's a lot of reasons why I should just sit down and never do another thing in my life. No one would ever blame me if I did that. And it hurts me when I see people who all they do is go, oh, I can't because of, and I think, come on now. Especially
when they're young and they've got time on their hand, because if you quit enough times, you become a loser.
Yep.
And once you're a loser, you can't bounce back. That's you'll end up with other people like yourself in an echo chamber again. And then from there, you'll get stuck there and you won't enjoy your life.
Exactly. The people you want to be around, if you've got like a problem, if you're, using food to medicate, alcohol to medicate, things like that, you need to be around people who don't make a joke of that, who don't enable that. You need to be around people who bring out the better version of you.
Yep.
Who insist you set goals.
That's very true. Joshy Fawns is throwing the Susu in there.
Yep, that's similar Susu, Joshua.
Simon Powell, you're exactly right. It's become a culture now. It's become a group that really didn't exist until the internet, that allowed people that were isolated and not accepted by families, by the village, to put their hand up and say, I'm not alone, and then find each other online to make them think that they are a bigger group than what they actually are. And therefore their voice is loud. It's a tough one because everyone's shaking their head, but they don't see it. Or maybe that's exactly what they want.
Yep.
Okay. And you know what the funny thing is, while I go back?
What?
In all the countries I go to, whether it be Indonesia, whether it's been Thailand, whether it's been Bali, whether it's been Africa, whether it's been the Middle East, etc., the people in the real problems, they don't treat themselves like victims. They get on, they're still happy.
Exactly. Yep. They're not going to spend the rest of their life, feeling, living in it. Your sister's got to go.
Okay, Lisa, I'll see you in a couple of days or a day or so. I won't use you just for the tubes. I'll give you a hug as well.
And it's always great to see you either in the comments or in the chat. It's terrific.
She loves her brother.
She does. She's very fortunate. You've got a good sister.
Yep.
Yeah, but I understand exactly what you're saying, and it's true, because when you've been through some stuff, you want people to look at you and go, "Wow, I did that despite what I've been through."
Yeah. Yep.
Not, "Oh, I need you to come and be my saviour." No, it's okay. I'm over that now. Let's move on.
I'll tell you what's saying that, Bud. One of my favourite songs now is Waiting for Superman, which is the Chris Daltrey, the singer. It's an amazing song about a guy that's helping people all through the day. I don't know what the metaphor is there, but he gets the rough end of the stick by everyone he saves throughout the day. And it is proof that the Good Samaritan and the person that always looks out for others is often misunderstood. And to Chris Daltrey, his daughter just got found dead.
What a shame.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. I'm sure there's a lot more to that one. But there's no criminal investigation to it. Self-discipline and no need for supervision. You know the best way for this to occur?
How?
Is by people doing a job they love.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly. And as long as that person has, and we've talked about this before, we say the word all the time, integrity.
Yeah.
If you can be trusted when no one's watching you, then you're pretty good. You're good. You're fine. You'll be fine in life.
And this is what a lot of people don't understand when they go to join the military. If you turn up underachieving physically, you've already shown that you cannot be trusted when no one's supervising. You're not a self-starter. You're not motivated. You're not goal-driven.
Yep.
That you need to look at yourself, pull yourself back up. There's no reason why you can't. That's why we say this, so younger people are able to actually go, you know what? Maybe I haven't set a plan out, and maybe I need a vision board. Maybe I need numbers I need to receive. Kaz, what is a good number I need to receive physically? What is an excellent diagnostic I can work on? So it's me versus me, etc. But when you turn up and you're like Carl, okay, who's spewing he's only been beaten by 2 people physically for all of those that turned up to his Army Reserve orientation day, there was people that could not pass the fitness test at all. Now, I don't need to know anything more about them other than I don't want them in my group.
Yeah, exactly. I have so much respect for people who are self-disciplined.
I get jealous sometimes.
The actual definition of it is the ability to control one's feelings and overcome one's weaknesses.
And we've all got them.
We've all got them. And, this is, again, not playing victim. Okay, I've got weaknesses, but I can overcome them. I can find a way around them. I can work despite them. I'm not going to let that grog control me. I'm not going to let food control me. I'm not going to sit there and blame other people or something for who I am now.
Yeah. I do have to blame my big nose for getting in other people's business sometimes. Self-discipline and no need for and no supervision. It's a big one, especially when it's military, when it's police, whatever, because Simon would know this. When you're overseas and you're working with foreign armies, you'll shake your head. They're not safe. They're not self-disciplined. They do need supervision. They're not like Australia where we have fantastic, opportunities and conditions of service. They're there because they have to be there, and that's the only way out of the village to either go to the cartel or go to, crime or to go to the military. But when you actually see what an ill-disciplined army looks like, it's horrible. It really is.
Yep, exactly. I like what Brendan Field wrote there. He said, no supervision is born from great leadership. And I think that's probably true too, because people really can't do what they haven't learned or witnessed.
And it normally comes from fathers.
It does, exactly. Or if your goal is to be a mother, you've kind of got to have seen a good mother somehow. Yeah. It doesn't have to be your own, but you have to at least witness it. And this is what kind of bothers me and worries me. I feel very sad for the multi-generational welfare families, because it is very difficult for them to break out of that cycle. Because one, there's hardly any dads to be seen, and two, sometimes the mums aren't what they're cracked up to be or should be either. So it's like they've got to actually wipe the slate clean, look for entirely different leadership to be able to change and break that cycle.
Yeah, that's true. And look, I've met some fantastic people that come from the other side of the tracks that I used to be best friends with. And they're great people. They've got an honour system as well. But you just got to hope you don't get to an age where it's too late to turn yourself around, or you haven't made juvenile mistakes. They're going to stay you forever. And regardless of how good a person you turn into, you've created a disability, via the criminal record, etc., that you'll never get over, no matter how nice you are.
It's going to limit your opportunities. It really is. We've seen it here before. People who have gone off the rails when they were younger, then they want to join the military, then they find it's an obstacle, and that can leave them kind of bitter, But the truth is, even the decisions you make when you are young might affect your opportunities for the future.
Especially your dating ones.
Yeah, that is true.
The worst thing you can do, the most damage that'll ever happen to you, is from family, friends, and partners.
It's true.
No one's going to betray you more.
Yeah, it's exactly right. Most people are, severely hurt by the people they trust the most.
I can't read. I'm sorry. It looks like a Leah, but it's not. What's
Aditya Ratish said he just failed his ADFA OSP. Sad face.
Well, honestly, anyone that's going to come to go to offices, if you're not on my Patreon, you've shot yourself in the goddamn foot.
I was just going to say the same. I'll put the link in Yeah.
guys, for the price of a coffee, you could have me in your corner. I'm an officer instructor. I'm an instructor of people who are doing their sergeant's courses, their section commander courses, their private courses. You're very lucky to have me there that can do these one-on-one, as long as it takes conversations with you. Now, if you've only just found the channel, I'm sorry for you that you didn't realise that opportunity was there. But you know what? The officer selection, I wouldn't trust it if it picked everyone. It's who it doesn't pick that makes it a probably a fair income thing. But when I look at a lot of military officers, I see high IQ. Rarely do I see actual leadership. As a matter of fact, the leadership levels in all officers is normally dog shit. The reason is it's based off intelligence normally, not life experience, or achievement, which I think is a falling down.
Yeah.
And Nicole would be able to tell you about that as well. Let's have a look at another one. Scrub the board, Miss Jane. There we go. Bam. Self-development and discovery.
Okay.
I quite often, guys and gals, find, g'day Fugly, how you going, Western Australia there, WA, West Side? Dave, I said almost all, not all. Okay, prove me wrong, old man River. Self-development discovery. Okay. Now, a lot of this comes down to reading, etc. But in today's day and age, you cannot read enough or fast enough to be able to absorb that information, to have the time to do that with the way our cyclic world seems to be flying about us. However, books, if read or listened to by not so much podcast, but you know what I'm talking about, audio book, what it creates is an actual source of information that you can fall back on, that you can share, you can pass to someone, you can cite, etc. A good example of that is, where are we? The Ancient Art of War, etc. Underline passages, give it to someone who needs it.
Exactly.
The other one is self-discovery through complex conversations. I hate sports. Only because now I've moved past that and I'm more into the intellectual and robust conversations about geopolitical situations, about those people that are influential in the world, those that have actually made some level of success or stand out from the crowd, no matter what it is. And so people like Joe Rogan, fantastic. He gets on people that he doesn't necessarily agree with. I listen to a lot of podcasts about different things on subjects I wouldn't normally have listened to. And what that does, it gives me a holistic insight into what's happening in the world. It feels like self-development and discovery. It gives you topics and interests and worldly knowledge, which sometimes is hard to explain to people and can make you potentially even sound like a conspiracy theorist, because it must make people feel dumb when you can talk for an hour and they've never heard of a single thing you've just said. And it's coming from someone who's not smarter. It's just someone that has the time or does the listening instead of watching the footy, instead of listening to music. Mine is always about information.
Yeah, it's about how you spend your time. You know me, I read a lot. I read all kinds of things. And it's good because, like you said, even audiobooks and that, it floats around in your head. It's something that your brain will draw on instantly. Knowledge is like feeding your brain. And self-development is actually, again, by definition, the process by which a person's character or abilities are gradually developed. And that gradual is important too. That's the process. That's where the self-discovery comes in, because the self-discovery is a process.
Absolutely.
And it's of acquiring insight into one's own character. Now, you have to know yourself to know where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, what your tastes are, how you like to spend your time, what your goals are, what you do value. You must go on that and that's an ongoing journey, self-discovery.
Well, absolutely it is, because when you get in a deep conversation with people and then you and you're in a position where they might not even have a view on anything. I think it's completely wrong to say never speak about religion, politics, etc., because that's how you end up being the actual sheep that thinks that the project Channel 9, Channel 7 and Channel 10 aren't in cahoots.
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely proud to say I've never watched it.
And it's getting canned, the project. So there's some evidence there. If that is not a victim mentality thing where they're ultimately losing their platform all because of Lisa Wilkinson complaining about wages not bringing in views, and it just perpetuates anger and sadness and no possibility for a good future. It's horrible. So get yourself involved in audiobooks. They're fantastic. You know, I know some of you are a little bit younger and don't necessarily have the car to be able to listen to it while you're heading up the coast. You know, it doesn't look very cool when you're travelling down the highway and your head bopping to a bloody podcast, but
you'll be surprised because you'll find a lady stopped at the lights next to you, maybe a young lady, and she'll be listening to a podcast too. Your eyes will meet and you'll know you're rare.
You got a dirty car, man. Sorry, baby. I spend my time learning. I haven't got time to clean. You should see me teeth.
Oh, God.
Time management.
So well.
I'm poor at time management. I am. And I am, honestly, all of these things that I've put down now, I'm almost useless at, which is why I doubt whether I'm successful. I've made no goals with this channel. I've just got in here like the ship in the storm, which is probably why the views are going down, which is probably why the subscribers have completely fallen off. You know, I don't know. I don't think I could do a hell of a lot more as an army of one than what I do behind the scenes.
I actually think sometimes, you know, you're a bit too generous with your time. I think
probably.
That's probably the only thing in your time management, because you do cram an awful lot into the day. You're like me. You want to be up watching the sun rise over that water, you know, and you want to make the most of every day.
And don't go to a visual area here, Jay, but I am honestly more tired than Elton John's sphincter muscle. You know, all the time I feel like the Scream mask, you know.
Yeah.
But I know that if you lay down, then what happens is it gets harder and harder to get back up. So time management, you need to, that means you've got to cut some things away. Time management, you need to say, what are the priorities of the mission in order? Okay, and then what you need to do is cut certain things out so you can get to where you need to be. Because otherwise, if you have too many projects, you end up not succeeding in any. Now, some things I need to do. I need to send some footies to Vietnam for Nam veteran. He lives in Vietnam. Dave Penson. Yep. I need to send the In the Trenches with Kaz pack to Jay Hayes. You know, I've got to go through what I'm doing with Daz now to get Old McDonald's farm up and running. You know, I've got to get up to Mum and Dad's tomorrow, you know, to go and cook for the old man, you know, never knowing how long he's got left. You know, there's so many different things we're going to do, all while making videos and timelines and answering phone calls and accepting the fact that I lost $10,000 today in the stock market. I've got to pretend it doesn't worry me. You know, all of these things occur, but the show must go on. Because I haven't heard the fat lady sing yet. I have, but not just the one.
Because one of your goals, like me, was to actually see what kind of difference you could make with what you had. We don't have a lot, so we use YouTube and other things that folk would never even know about to try and make as big a, most effective difference as we can.
Absolutely. And there's no reason why anyone can't start a YouTube channel these days, to start a platform, time it out, understand how many videos you're going to put out and what you can achieve and what you're trying to create. And there's no reason why you can't achieve something from it, especially if you're time rich like Kaz supposedly is. Take risks for the mission is another one that they do. They take a shot. They take risks in life. The younger you are, the more opportunity you have to recover from those, whether it be relationships, whether it be financial, whether it be a job or a career, whether that be joining the military before you become a builder, before you become a sparky, before you become a lawyer. There's one logical step and that is to always, every time, start with Army first. You will not get an opportunity to do a career and then join the Army. If you do, you might be overbaked. You might end up only being for 4 years and going, I should have done it earlier. But by being a soldier, everything you learn about that will make you better at every other career, and it'll make you understand the not just what is success to you now, but now you're saying it as a man, not as an adult. You'll be a man or a woman. Okay.
Yep. It's true. You've got to step off that cliff.
You do. Who dares wins all the time. They do what others were not willing to do. And that's how they get there.
Yep.
Right. So take that shot. Otherwise, you might never get another opportunity. Do what you love. What is your success? And make a career based on that, what the end state should be. And who can deny you the actions, the work you do to try and achieve what you love? You know, even if you fall up short, you took a chance, you know, you've achieved success, you've made friends, you've made yourself the best version of you. You didn't make it just about money, because money will only get you so far. If SASR was about the money, and they do get paid a fair bit, not really when you consider what their job actually is and the suffering they go through, you know, staying at 9,000 revs a minute, you know, for their whole career. But
yeah, that's right, exactly.
Yep, I wish your channel was around 20 years old.
20 years ago. Yeah, look, it's just like what John said. I wish when we were talking about for spouses joining the military, it's like I wish there was someone around to have told me stuff, you know. Hey, here's David Penson.
Hey, there he is. He heard us. We summoned him with a conch shell.
Yeah, I hope you're well. I hope little Anthony and the whole tribe that you've got is well.
Hey, and Mr. Bryce is sorry, it's Simon.
Yeah, Simon's been here for ages. We've been having banter in the chat.
Yeah. Yep. Mr. Field, success is less than 20.
Over at the same golf course I play every week.
There you go. Well, this is some news for you. My godson is 12 years old, and now he's going to be playing in Victoria for the Colts, where it's up to 24 years old men.
Awesome.
You know, he is really, really established with his golf. Really, really good.
Good work. Yeah.
And he's a school captain.
Yeah, some young folk are so focused. I was not one of those kids. I was just always floating around, didn't know what I was meant to do or anything about life. Yeah. But some young people really just get it.
They do. And that's why sometimes we have to be careful what we say about this generation, whatever, because I see some people that are so focused. You look at them and it's almost jealousy. You go, holy shit, Kane, where are you? Kane Higgins, come.
Stop it. If you say his name 3 times, he'll rock up, so stop it.
We need, my phone just went,
And was it?
Hey, I just got a message from Lou. What was I going to say? Peter Dutton was on the TV today having a big talk to a conference, you know, speaking up the contribution of soldiers and what we've been doing in the last several years. There's also a bit of propaganda that's coming out of a video that got sent to me today, which, you know,
I've seen the same video, but sadly I saw it on an international YouTuber's thing and they were using it as proof. And I'm thinking, please, that's not proof.
You know what? What she was actually saying in that, I believe it should be investigated and she should be charged.
Look, the truth is...
If it's not true and you're saying that about your own government, that something is happening, if it is, it should be investigated. You know, but if it's not, you shouldn't be able to put absolute falsehoods out there that diminish... you know, if it's slander against a person, you can get charged for that. You know, if you're saying it about an organisation that can get them targeted.
Let me just say, this seems like a crazy hill to die on.
It does.
Okay, when your communities that you're saying you care so very much about, and yes, I'm going to have this conversation, when they have such a high rate of child abuse and child suicide, that should have been the hill you wanted to die on. That was the point where you should have been demanding to hear from your people and your community, not this.
Guys, you don't. We don't need to go too far in what the video is. It got sent to me, and I looked at it and went, "What?" Straight away I thought, "I'd
really just someone having a rant."
I would have thought to myself, I'd be scared to say that online because of the repercussions that could come back from the government that would go, now you're going to stand up and give me the evidence, or you can say, or face whatever comes, because, I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know. Sometimes I think not everybody faces consequences equally in Australia.
Absolutely, that's true too. Absolutely true. I have one. This is amazing. I'm not sure what that one's about.
Who are you looking at?
I'm not sure what it is. Okay, but at the end of the day, team, what we're saying is, in summary to this, with self-development and habits of success, of people that are actually already successful, is it's hard to be successful if you don't define what success means to you, take a logical step towards it. If you only do what your parents want you to do that follows their footsteps, that's not your success necessarily.
You've got your own story, and no one can actually tell what's in your head or your heart. Only you can.
Yeah.
And don't live your life for other people.
Yep.
I often see this, like, even in relationships, one person gets lost. One person just becomes the supporting act for the other person. And then you never see that other person as a person. It's all about one individual in the relationship. That's not cool. You're both two individual people.
Yep. A dance takes two, but someone also has to lead.
And that's true, But I do find, and I don't mean to be sexist, so please, if you disagree with this, ladies, please do tell me why. Prove me wrong. But I see a lot of relationships where you've got the lady and everything's about worshipping her. The man, his whole job is about caring for and worshipping and doing everything to make sure she's happy. Happy wife, happy life. Well, what about him? We don't ever hear from him. He doesn't seem to have the same freedom she has. And that seems really unhealthy, and it seems I see it quite a lot nowadays.
Well, we're not part of the victim class.
Yeah, exactly. I see it more than I see men doing that to women.
Yep. How dare you?
I know, but it's true. And you know me, I'm an actual advocate for women to be genuinely strong, not just say they're ball busters or have a bad bitch bumper sticker. Be actually strong.
Physically?
No. Well, as much as they can.
I don't want to date a physically strong girl. I've still got to be able to win if it comes down to that.
You need to be fit. You need to look after yourself. You can't just become a round dumpling in your life. You must, even if you're old, you must take good care of yourself, male and female.
And this is what it comes down to. The majority of the people that come to our channel, honestly, they want to join the military, fire brigade, police, paramedic, etc. We know straight away whether you are a success-orientated person by the way you look when you turn up. Whether it be your hair, whether it be what you wore as clothes, whether it be your attitude, whether it be your fitness, whether it be the way you react, whether it be your maturity, immaturity. You'll get away with a lot of immaturity. That's fine. But replace it with, but also have, enthusiasm.
Yeah, and there's a time and a place.
Yeah.
Who is there? It's knowing when to behave yourself in a certain way. Mr. Buccarini is here.
Mr. Buccarini, you need to check out the 31-inch, that's not what she said,
beg your pardon?
Evo grill. It is amazing. A round teppanyaki grill that you could cook, mate. You could cook You could cook a mother-in-law in that.
Oh, he cooks some great. What? That took a dark turn. I love Mr. Buccarini's cooking. If you haven't checked out Mr. Buccarini's channel, you really should.
Mr. Buccarini, but I think he does need to cook a little bit more medium rare.
Different tastes. Everyone's got different tastes.
Hey team, internet crashed for a few moments. Billy Zane.
Hey, welcome back, Zane. I like Zane. He's a good contributor.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah. What have I missed? No, you haven't missed anything, mate. We're waffling on. Leo, the stunt man. Good to have you here as always. And we've got 40 Mike. Dave D, I just got a charcoal grill with offset smoker. Mate, I'd rather just a a pizza oven, to be honest.
Rose has the best pizza oven. It's wonderful. It's great.
I know. I just got asked, Snako. Sorry, guys, my eyes are like buttons. What do I think about crypto? Okay. Guys and gals, the video that I've been working on today that hasn't come out, it's supposed to come out on Monday, but I might not be back until Tuesday. I'm going up the coast. One of the things that astounds me and absolutely should be a conspiracy to young people and old people that looking back is how come the only thing that you cannot give advice on in this world is financial? Why is that such a crime? If you give someone something in the absence to anyone getting anything, we weren't taught finances at school. Most of us weren't taught by our parents. You know, if you know nothing about it and you think that every dollar that you need to have comes from hard work, instead of learning how to invest money and have money working while you're sleeping, you're going to have a very, very long life, and some very, very sore bones. There is ways of making money offsetting the tax that you pay. So you're putting less chips on the table, learning about crypto, whether you like it or not, that's the future. It is. 5% of the world that's involved in the finances is in crypto, and all it needs to do is be 10%, 15%, 20%, and continue on. I look at the young guys and gals, and they talk about it all the time. They're well versed. They understand the mathematics behind it. They understand the vision of what it can be. They understand that our own dollar that we stand behind, the fiat dollar, that goes to our banks, there's no interest for, no interest. And our inflation is going up at a level. If you put $1,000 in the bank, it'll be worth $800 in just over a year. And what it can buy, it won't be stripped down to $800, but you'll only be able to buy $800 worth of shit. It won't be long before, if you don't have money working for you, you can put yourself in a class where you're going to have to work the rest of your life. And guess what? You're going to live a lot longer than what probably your parents did. So you want to make sure you've got something lined up. They're already talking about, extending loans so you can get a bigger loan, but over a longer period of time to get people in that debt bubble. Relationships have never been less successful in the history of the world. So no matter what you do by engaging in a relationship early, stacked against you, you're going to make a mistake. And financially, you're both going to end up in shit creek without a paddle. And the government's going to love it because that's two people now that have to work every single day. Our parents used to be able to get away with one person working while one looked after the children. I don't know whether they liked that or whether they didn't. I'm sure some did. I'm sure some did not. But at least they had a choice. Dude, if you see people now that don't have any parents despite the fact their parents are at home because their parents are working on the way to work, when they come home from work, at work, also they can enjoy 10 days with their kids that they're too tired to do by the end of the year. Crypto, I've got money in it. Okay? Only because I never want to be the guy that looks back and says, dude, because my dad said that every man, that's the way we speak. Every man has had an opportunity in his life that he realizes went through his fingers because he either didn't trust the process or couldn't take the risk. Okay, the younger you are, the more opportunity you have to heal from the wounds. Donald Trump had been bankrupt, and now he's back to, $8-10 billion.
A lot of very, very successful business people have been there.
Yep, you know someone's a legend when they can come back from being bankrupt and be rich again.
Yeah, exactly.
Shows the first one wasn't a fluke.
Yeah.
It's a bit violent.
He's telling me about a TV show he's been watching. So I can handle violent. Miss Allie and I play GTA exactly the same way. We can handle violent.
Mr. Buckarooni's saying he's having a Wolf Creek community get together at Camp Harvey Bay on the 4th to the 7th of August. Well, mate, I'll have a van by then.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm investigating number plates at the moment. Okay, will it be a great thing, or is it somewhere they'll go, there he is, flog that man?
What? Any people should put their suggestions for your number plate.
I can't even get people to hit the like button.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. I'm getting ready to sort out another treatment.
They're talking health.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You can get Australian beef. It's a little bit more expensive. You know?
They're talking about, Daz was asking what sort of beef they get in Vietnam. Because David's having delicious Vietnamese beef tonight, which sounds delicious. They have great food.
Is it short beef? Barks?
Huh?
Vietnam beef. You know, you always think it's going to be a different coloured meat to what we're used to and go, is that another name for a different animal? I tell you what, when we were in Rwanda, I don't know what we were eating, but the Army Reserve cooks were cooking this meat and they'd cry by the insults we'd give them about their cooking, but also the meat was purple. And we're going, what is this shit we're eating? You know, you bought meat in Africa, you know, because they get jungle meat too. You know, jungle meat can be a bag of a combination of different animals.
I heard some young men, you know, used to go overseas, and for the first time that you went to Thailand and that, you'd always come back and tell me all about your exotic adventures, clean and not. And often they were always surprised because they'd like even go into McDonald's or something, and the burger and the meat would be this strange colour.
Yep.
They weren't quite sure what it was.
And sticking outside of a chicken burger, you know, looks like a shaman's tool, some sort of chicken's foot. You're going, can you remove that, please? That's not meant to be still on the end of the chicken leg, and a chicken leg isn't meant to be on a burger.
But apparently, that's not cool. But apparently the bits between the toes, are really yum. It'd be like the yummy bits on the chicken wing, I reckon, if you held the toes apart.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, it's true.
Dave D, how many cows do you need to borrow? Just one at a time. And we'll come home completed missing a few slices. Daz, to tell you the truth, mate, one of the most disgusting things I'd ever seen was by villages in East Timor where the water buffalo there that they have instead of the cattle, same sort of thing. They would cut a slice off the cow while it's still alive.
Oh, no.
Yep.
I don't like that.
It was savage. You feel like going, that's disgusting.
Yeah, I don't like that.
You know?
That's different than the Maasai bleeding it. That's different.
Well, I get bled by mosquitoes every time I go out.
Yeah, but it's quite amazing to watch how the Maasai do that.
Yeah, but, you know, the Maasai warriors, they're pussies, really. You know, they've got this myth, just because they're 7 foot tall, that they go out and kill a lion to become a man. You go, yeah, but there's 70 of yous around the lion.
Yeah, but they're that tall because they drink the blood.
Blood. God, geez, aren't we waffling tonight, team?
We are waffling. We are. You've definitely given them more than 3% achievement.
Well, that's not this video, really. It's the next one. Yeah, the video that I was working on today, it's almost done. It just needs the editing done. And it's basically about 3 different things that really people need to look at and consider about their lives. And you can actually make a 3% modest change in someone's life. It's the sort of thing I'd like to go and be public speaking in schools to allow kids to feel like that someone is weaponizing their future and allowing them to have some sort of adult learning skills that are not something that's coming from a teacher who also hasn't achieved those said skills. But if someone is a teacher, you know, and that was their calling, like mine was the army, who am I to tell them, you know? But your job is to teach. Yep. You can say you want to be a teacher, but you better be bloody good at it and you better have your own style.
Difference between being a teacher for a job and an educator because it's a passion.
I met a great teacher today. She was fantastic. A high school teacher, actually. Yeah. There's some awesome subjects starting to come out in high schools now, which is great to see.
It is really good.
Yep. we saw something today that was really, really sad, and it was about the 86% illiteracy rate in some parts of US society.
Tasmania has a shocking adult literacy rate.
Oh, really?
Terrible. Yeah, I think it's the worst in Australia. It's got to be close. It's terrible. Which is awful for me because all my kids are great readers. We've always instilled in them like 30 minutes a day even. Just read for 30 minutes. You can read anything. Read a magazine, but read for 30 minutes a day.
There you go. Nicole King. Bam, right on. Her daughter is doing multimedia next year. That's what the teacher does that I was talking to today.
Really important.
Cooking and multimedia. I'm going, that's amazing. Yeah. Cooking should still be taught at schools.
My kids do cooking.
At school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they do like home economics still.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Rural Hunter's here, is he?
Yep.
Yeah, Rural Hunter, he's in Townsville. He's got to join the army. Guys and gals, we might get out of here. Isn't it funny when we don't touch certain subjects the way that...
it goes fine.
It lets us go?
Yeah.
So for those that didn't believe that we're not getting throttled down, didn't know we went more than a week without getting a single subscriber as well in the channel?
Really?
Yep.
That's interesting.
You can't see the videos anymore. You know that you're being throttled because the comments stopped. That's what made me look back at the subscribers on the back end of the channel, and then I started looking back again. Couldn't find the videos on the channel. When YouTube doesn't like you, team, you don't have a hope in hell. Yeah.
Yeah, but look, the people who matter are here, and other folk, they'll find you. And if everyone here just tells someone about the channel or shares a stream or something, there might be someone who really wants this community. Lightfoot has asked if you could ever do a breakfast stream. I don't think that could fit into your time management, could it?
Yeah, no, I've got my daughter at that time of day. That's a bit of a non-negotiable. And the other one is, mate, I never want to waste your time. It's the reason,
exactly.
Or put you in a position where I force you to show your loyalty for the channel. So I don't do streams on weekends anymore, so you can have an entire weekend. So I'm not taking you away from yours. I do it in the afternoon, at night, taking into account that you'll have finished dinner.
I used to do the morning breakfasty streams, and to be honest with you, it's not a convenient time for hardly anybody.
No, and some people don't get out of bed.
There was a reason I had to change the times for my streams, and that was because some people like Brady and, the people who I really want at the stream can't be there in the morning. Jay, it's the middle of the night there where he is.
And guys and gals, you don't have to be here for everyone. You don't.
No, for sure. You're still part of the community.
Yeah. Guys and gals, let's get out of here. I'm going to go and get some food in my gut. And go and pick up the shipment of tubes while I go and cook my dad some fantastic food and maybe learn how to cultivate prawns, indoors.
I'm going to go get back in bed and watch I've been rewatching the Omen trilogy.
That's what you want when you live in the outback of Tasmania, where no one can hear you scream. The Omen.
Well, I went and got my jab thing today, so I'm looking after myself. I'm going to get in bed.
Yeah. Imagine watching The Omen if you were pregnant.
I mean, Rosemary's Baby would be worse.
Oh, yeah. All right, team. Well, let's get out of here. Love yous, leaving you. And remember that you have to look at yourself. You have to map out the journey. In the absence of knowing who you are or where you're going, do the research. Start listening to podcasts. So interesting. And it gives you something to talk about after the first 10 minutes of a barbecue. But it also closes doors too, that people think you're a conspiracy theorist whenever you talk about anything that they don't understand.
Yep, exactly. And, audiobooks, like you said, if you don't want to read, whack one on. They're actually excellent to go to sleep to, and I'm sure your brain still somehow absorbs that knowledge.
It does. It takes you to a dark spot.
It can. It depends on what you're listening to.
Yeah. No worries there, Zano. Zano.
Yeah, party's getting rough in the chat. We better go. They're talking about Simon and his horse milk transport.
Phew. The horse with one teat.
But you know what? He takes his work seriously and he does it to the best of his ability. And that's what you got to do. No matter what you're doing, do it as well as you can.
Does your jaw get sore transporting it?
Hey.
Oh. Van Wilder, for those that have seen it.
Oh, God.
You couldn't make that movie now, could you?
No. And spitters are quitters.
Ugh.
All right. Good night, everyone.
See you later, guys and gals. And you know what? We only get this life once. So enjoy it. Take it easy, because one day you're going to be looking back, and the resource, that we really need to have in our life is love and time.
Exactly.
And maybe fun too. Yeah.
Yeah, fun, definitely.
Keep it simple. Casual.
Stay playful.
Yeah. See ya.